got the hate and the jealousy. This ain't no Kikos, don't copy me. Hating on me that you can't even read. I'm popping my pussy when I hit the category. It take a hoe to birth a hoe, your mama hoe and you a bitch. These hoes can't address me. Bank account, that's my bestie. Cartier is caressing. Boss solid undressing. No, you can't get a shout out. I'm surprised you're allowed out. Don't make me get loud now. Ate her up like a chow down. Depressed. I'm not, I take my meds. That man is in distress. He ain't getting no head. I said them hoes depressed. I'm not, I take my meds. I beat that bitch to death. JK, I take my meds. You got the hate and the jealousy. This ain't no Kikos, don't copy me. Hating on me that you can't even read. I'm popping my pussy when I hit the category. Right now, my bars make money. Chinchilla.
Don't worry about my way. Sometimes you just gotta wait. Just do a little wait. Wait, you know what song I want to listen to? I know y'all probably jamming to this right now, but I need to hear the Whoopa version of MF Doom. It's called Hoe Cakes. Enjoy.
I got this girl and she wants me to duke her. I told her I'll come scoop her around 8. She said, that sounds great. Shorty girl's a trooper. No matter what I needed to do, she'd be like, on his own throne, the boss like King Cooper. On the microphone, he flossed the ring. Average MCs is like a TV blooper. MF Doom, he's like DB Cooper. Out with the moolah. I let her get her outfit just to cool her off. She said niggas ain't about shit. I wonder if she meant it. I doubt it. The way it be in her mouth, she can't live without it. And can't live with this. Handle your business. Villainous, stay on a scandalous whole shit list. One pack of cookies, please, Mr. Hooper. It's fun smacking rookies. He is the look like a black Wookie when he let his beard grow. Weirdo, brown skinned, it always kept his hair low. Rumors has it it's a S-curl accident. Doom was always known to keep the best girls' backs bent. Some say it's the eyes, some say the accent. A lot of guys wonder where their stacks went. I call her thunder thighs with the fatty swoller. Only mess with high rollers, do what daddy told her. No matter the city, she with me to do the thang thang. Working the coochie hoopty, chitty chitty bang bang. Same name on the titty as on the name ring. Pretty like Baby D off all in the same gang. Keep my eye on her, really don't trust her, but I treat her like a daughter. Taught her how to bust a nut and the heat to turn beef to horse meat chalupa. Teach her how to hold it, of course he is the See, most cats treat her like fupa or beat her to a stupor. Take it from the you need to make her feel cuter and lay down the G like loofah. Everything will be do for her. Keep her in a new fur so she looks sweet when she go to meet the got the Buddha, get the grenadiers, twist it, put it in the air, come in, kiss it, listen here, Scooter, let her try to bag you when she's on the rag, never let her fry the ragu, which will have you into some type of spell, crying dag, boo, her name on your back in a tattoo, whether a bougie broad, nerd, hoe, street chick, don't call her wife if you met her at the freak nick, you don't want her, don't waste her time, I'll dupe her, and be a father to your child like the he keep his hoes in check, sends him out to get glows from all frozen necks. Tell him take his clothes, leave him posing naked for real. Better yet, get him for the check off the record deal. Find out where he keep the tech and the blue steel. Make sure for extra rec, let him know how you feel. And while he's running down to All-Star Weekend to ball, I'm coming with the U-Haul.
What's up? Just pay my phone bill. No fuss, red, blue, pop both pills. I'm up, still shop at Goodwill. Shut up, I'll sign my own deal. I see London, I see France. Your girl in her underpants. She said I'm a better man.
Y'all, I need to have my eyes checked. I saw the message about, bro, I saw mom like teaching her daughter or son. I didn't read that. I read something about somebody rawing somebody. That word was not even in there. I'm so glad what you wrote was a lot cuter than what I read.
Fuck cancer, $1 million baby, bitch on the answer. I bought a crib with a fence and a horse and a cow and a pig and a big red barn. I'm a rancher, just bought a camper, had to pin the ride. Now my son signed cancer, it's okay to cry. I'm a date romance, we getting french fries. Yeah, I got good manners, I'm a nice guy. And what's up? just paid my phone bill. No fuss, red, blue, pop, both pills. I'm up, still shop at Goodwill. Shut up, just sign my own deal. I see
Yeah, well, to be fair, so here's what's going on. The text for stream is going over the starting soon screen on my screen. So the text is layered on top of other text. So it's a little hard to read sometimes. I do not have a one-track mind dichotomy, and my mind is mostly focused on content. Pink, I can't. This might surprise you, Pink, sweetie, but I can't see your fingers through the screen. Yeah. So to talk about, you know what? We're just gonna stop this timer. We don't need any more timer, right? We just want to go. We want to start. Hello. so lovelies. I need to tell you all first off why stream's going to be shorter today. Friday streams would normally start at 3 instead of 4 because, you know, I have to go to singing lessons. But I was doing a little bit of stream coaching before this, and I hurt my foot. I don't know how I hurt my foot, but y'all, even my injuries are dog-coded. The pad of my foot hurts, so I can't set my foot down completely. So I'm limping with my foot like half up, like a dog walks around with its paw. So yeah, even now, I'm like I have a dog injury, y'all. I have a dog injury. That's how my life goes. Yeah. Woof woof. So we're going to go straight into stuff today, though. Also, but how are y'all doing? I hope you're doing amazing. It is so lovely to see you, as it always is. And I saw a few people said, hey, I love your videos. To you. Hi. I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. Though, nobody liked my funny video. No, we're watching it. Chat, we're watching the funny video I posted. I got so little views. I was playing Minecraft. I got so little views on it. And so I need you all to appreciate it here live with me. We're watching it together. No, yeah. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was one of the better things I've posted in a while. Okay. Gonna take Gene to the vet, spend $1,000. It's gonna be a bruise. Yeah. Actually, I think I stepped too hard with my foot and it slipped, and so I just pulled a muscle on my foot. It's gonna be fine. Hey, hi, Crimson Tears. First time I get to catch your stream. Hope your foot gets better. Well, I'm glad you're here. I love when we have people who are getting here for the first time. No, y'all, we're all of us are watching it together now because it did not get enough attention, and I need people to tell me if it's funny or not. Or am I cringe? Is that what it was? I need validation, or I need to be corrected. Okay. Don't call me cringe. I haven't played it yet. I haven't played. You can't call me cringe until. Just let me play it first, and then you can judge me. Okay? All right, here we go. Are you ready? Hopefully you can hear it. We'll turn up the volume a little bit here. Okay, are you ready? Right back. Oh, wait, why is that overlaid? Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Right. I'm right back. Okay. Something's over. Okay. Almost. Okay. It's just 1, 2. Okay. Hi, I'm back. Right. So was it not funny? It wasn't good enough. I feel less confident about it now that I played it. I'm just like, it was funny, but it was definitely a, that's funny. Not a, haha, I'm laughing. Pinky, thank you for the raid! You would raid on my shorter stream. To be fair, ain't no way you won, Pinky. Not only did you win, you got all 7s. You got all 7s, Pinky. What the heck? What the heck? You know what, Pinky? Anything you want. Is there anything you want, Pinky? Thank you so much for the raid. Oh, I need to take you to the basement. Hello, Pinky. Can we get a shout out for Pinky? Pinky's an amazing streamer. They are a frog maid. I keep threatening them with raids, but they tell me that they don't want me to raid them yet. So Yeah. Oh, don't worry about the tacos. Actually, Pinky, you can have the tacos. You want a hug? Oh, honey. Of course you can have a hug. Chat, hug Pinky. Well. Hello, Pinky. Are you ready, Pinky? Are you ready? You ready, Pinky? You know what's happening next. So, lovely people, for you raiders who are new here, guess what? I hit the wrong button. No, I hit the wrong button. Wait. There it is. It's not working. It's not working. Don't embarrass me. Why isn't it working? I can't. Where'd it go? There it is. There we go. Okay. All right. Hi, Pinky. I hope you had a lovely stream. I just started stream. Funny how perfect my thing worked, wasn't it? Well, yeah, I think it was very good. I did super good. Yeah, high five, everybody. High five. High fives. High fives all around. Give claps. But yes, go check out Pinky. If we haven't shouted them out yet, please shout them out. And if they have been shouted out, go check them out. They are very good. They're so cool. I like their streams. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to do our thing. We're going to read through everybody. I'm going to read through these as quickly as possible so we can get to the game today. It's only going to be like an hour and a half stream, and we've already wasted 12 minutes. So, ready? Hello, new person. Hello, Nika. Welcome. Okay, we are reading off every single person who has done. So don't lick the raiders. We're going to read every single person off who has checked in. Mwah. Love you, Pinky. You're so cool. Hello, Star Noxtis. Thank you for getting second. Hello, Eli. You got first. Congratulations. On Glitch, you got third. Congratulations, even if it's in the wrong order, you dummies. Hello, Glitch. Hello, Ayas. Hello, Nimbus. Hello, Full Metal. Hello, Xenix. Hello, Lena Lovegood. Hello, Poison. Hello, and Eagle. Hello, Welshie the Badger Queen. Hello, Dumpster. Hello, Shadow. Hello, Looney and Silverfang. Hello, Humania. Hello, Carnia. Hello, Seven Guy. Hello, Star Noxtis and Bellatrix and Galactic. Hello, Tasha and Lucky and Brisk. Hello, Bearless Standing. Hello, Annabelle. Hello, Neffy. I love seeing so many reoccurring names. Hello, Annabelle. Hello, Neffy. Hello, Rel. Hello, Gem Fox. Hello, Zombie Biscuit. Hello, the Soul Keeper. This is Poco. Hello. Hello, Useless Huntress. Hello, Call Me Mud. Hello, Necro Ninja. Hello, Sleepy Sonic Puppy. Hello, Silver Vang. Hello, VIP Sonic. Oh, V. I like the combination of the name, but I'm trying to pronounce it. Hello, Psychotic. Hello, Asha. Hello, the German. Hello, Kayla. Wait, here he is. There's the voice. Hello, Amber. How you doing? Hello, Onyx. Hello, Kalis. Hello, Ava. Hello, Vizray. Hello, Sakona. Hello, Meow Kitty. Hello, Zester. Hello, Wolfos. Hello, Pink. Hello, Fox Time. Hello, Pandragon, Deshaun, and Imana. Hello, Rookie. Hello, MC Bumble. Hello, Ruby. Hello, Tani. Hello, Talissima. Hello, Ocean. Hello, Echo and Silly and Goblin. Hello, Kira. Hello, Maddie. Hello, Kitty Lover. David the Follow, welcome to the Menagerie. Hello, Foxy. Hello, Mizaki. Hello, Misty. Hello, Luna. Hello, Nulia. Hello, Spooky. Hello, Spell. Hello, Momumia. Hello, Ari. Hello, Kiana. Hello, Kitty Agatha. Hello, Wolfie. Hello, Spooky Neme. Spooky Neme? Thank you for putting me on your Twitch page. I took a look. I saw your Twitch page. I saw that you have me recommended as one of the people to watch on your stream. Next to Sayu, that's some big streamers right there. Hello, Elliptical Panda. Hello, Little Mouse. Hello, Pebbles. Hello, Juno Spaghettios. Hello, Caitlin. Hello, Unicorn Tamo. Roxanne, the Little Red Fox, and Sadie. Baddy. Can I have more bricks? Stop eating the bricks. Hello, Casey. Hello, Julia. Thank you for the raid, Pinky. We raised it. Hello, Sinful Microwave. Hello, Red Faye. Julia, thank you so much for the bits. Hello, X-Virus. Hello, Catalyst. Still doing that southern voice for you. Hello, Stella. Hello, Rukia. Nara. Hello, Red Moon. Hello, Pinky. Hello, Illy. Hello, Alec. Hello, Alex. Hello, Crimson. Hello, Black Silver. Hello, Tide Nap Time. And hello, Anika Crystal. Art. And hello, Ariana. And hello, Amelia. Anyone else? Hello, Kira. There's a 7 Kira and there's an 8 Kira. I noticed the numbers. Can I have glue? No. You're so tired? I'm also tired. And my foot hurts. Help! Hello, half-eaten shrimp. And hello, sinful microwave for the stretch. Friday Crime Day. I don't know what I did to my foot. Anyways, we're going to be playing Dave the Diver. Because I got it installed. And I want to see what the game's like. But I don't want to throw it into the ASMR section until we do it. Leia Lovegood, I did. I said your entire name this time. I know. No, there's no crime. There ain't no crime. Did you turn mine into a nickname? I did. I went, Illy. My body just feels limp. Nap time, are you okay? Somebody check on. Why is Dave diving? That's a good question. We're going to find out. Chat, if you can guess why Dave is diving, but you don't actually know. Wait. Chat, tell me why Dave is diving, but only wrong answers. Only wrong answers. Let's go. A Nikkei collab? That's insane. I'm such a good doggy. Luna, what's up, sweetie? What'd you say? Clicker? Oh. I forgot about the clicker. I forgot. I picked up the clicker. I'm like, hey, look, clicker. And then I put it down. And you go, was that a clicker? I didn't even realize. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much for the follow, Bo Bear. Okay. We are doing Dave the Diver. He went to go look for his wife. That makes sense. I believe it. He's diving off the roof. Valid. Should I maybe sleep? Yes. Go bed. He tried to clicker train us before. I didn't try. I did. It was weird. Glue's not tasty. It's not. Chat, behave yourself. Looking for. I made Jello. Chat, there's Jello. There's Jello in my fridge right now, and it's currently solidifying. And I'm so excited for the Jello to exist. But right now I'm trying to find where's the audio for this game, and I can't find it. Come on, don't steal my Jello. Actually, I made the Jello. I don't know if I put enough water in it, and I'm a little bit afraid that the Jello is gonna be like too solidified. I found some in my fridge. I mean, I think Jello might expire. But you know, I followed the instructions. Yes, it said put part water in and part boiling water, and I did. But I also put whipped cream in it, and I also put the wrong amount of water in it. And I might try to make it with an energy drink later. Anyway. Oh! I love this, Overvang. What time is it for me? 4:24. Did y'all ever realize that the lighting of the game affects my model? Oh, wait, watch. Isn't that cool? Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome, Morgan. I know, right? Ooh, Goblin King, be careful. Ants are bad. Right? You know how much, like, little details my stream has for immersion? Nobody notices. Nobody realizes the cool lighting stuff I do. Gernook. Right. I mentioned a lot, and still people don't realize, so I need to tell people more. The voice jump scare. What's wrong with my voice? Is there something wrong with my voice, Morgan? Sorry, I can lower my tone. Let me be a little bit more. Alright, is this better? What if I talk here the entire stream? Is that a little better for you all? No.
Ooh, thank you so much for the Wadim.
Yeah, there you go. Hello, yeah, I can count. What's up? How's the counting going? Have you gotten up to 7 yet? Mm-hmm. Oh, tell me how it is. I've always wanted to make pine soda. Proud of you. Yeah, you got to prove it though. Oh, okay. Wait. Loud voice. Oh, Dave, you got here quickly.
Well, I just told to hurry here, and I was on my vacation, you know. So, where's the sushi at?
Haha, don't rush yourself. Have a look around.
This looks like a giant blue hole. I've never seen anything like this.
It's not just the size. Every time you enter the giant blue hole, the terrain and ecology change, which means this could be incredible business opportunity.
Yeah, well, what kind of business?
This is called Dave the Diver.
Well, we can discuss that later. I heard you're looking for a break from diving. How about warming up? I'll guide you from here. Go ahead and go in.
What are you taking me for granted for?
Actually, I don't have a good feeling about this.
Hey, look at you! Proud of you. Good job, yeah, I can count. You're doing so good. You made a new song? Oh, sweet! I bet it's great. What am I good at, Sarah? His Dave case on this guy. Nice form. All right, how about trying stretching out a bit? Try moving to the marked area. With shift, you can move quickly. Remember that this speeds up oxygen consumption. Yeah, I'm having fun. Also, the fact that stream's gonna be a little bit shorter, maybe I'm putting more effort into it. Good. Looks like your skills are intact. You move as nimble as freshwater snail.
Blue Jean.
All right. Let's see if I can mix this up here. Let's now practice using the weapon you need in the dive knife. With the survivor knife on small fish, you can use, here you go. Hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna move in here. Well done. Smooth and quick. I believe in you, Gene, speak. I give up. If somebody can rewrite the word, I'll try it again. Anyways, contingency. That doesn't seem like a real word.
The harpoon, well, I haven't used it in a long time. Do you aim first and then,
looks like you need some practice. Wait, Southern. Gotta find the position. All right, there it is. Let's try using the harpoon to get the aim with and fire with. Now try it out yourself.
Bye, coral reefs.
I missed. Wait. Are you telling me that root beer? You telling me that they made a root beer flavored sparkling water? Why? What is the point? Oh. No, I didn't. Oh, I did. I think that should get you back in no time. All right, I'm back to the boat. Okay, now that you had a hang of it, let's get down to business. Dave. I can stop being Southern. Dave, you love sushi, right?
yeah, that's soft fish meat with oily rice. Oh man, that's just the best.
Well, listen up. I have a friend who's a sushi chef who left the business for a while.
Oh, Roxanne, you're fine.
He has a bit of a sharp tongue and a slight temper, but he has one skill that I guarantee is unmatched in the world. right here that I started a restaurant with my friend that sells one-of-a-kind sushi. Sushi sold here is made from fresh fish caught in the blue hole, where fish from all over the world can be found. Don't you think people will just go nuts for it?
Yeah, I'm already craving it.
Right, a bet. So, why don't you join in some awesome venture as well? What do you say?
I mean, I love eating, but I don't know a thing about cooking.
Nothing to worry about. The restaurant's all ready. All you need to do is dive to get ingredients. Doesn't sound too bad, right? So am I overdoing this, by the way? Are y'all chill with me just doing stupid voices all day? Because I don't know why. It be hitting. Love the voices? Okay, cool. Well, I want to make sure I get to talk to you. No, I like the stupid voices. Yes, okay. I realized I asked a lot of different questions, and then people said no and yes, and I'm like, oh no, which questions are they saying yes or no to? I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm going to see what happens if I decline.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any money on me. I don't think I can pay.
That reminds me. I remember that a while ago, you broke my underwater drone. The repair cost was about 500 gold, but I didn't charge you for it.
It broke after 5 seconds of use. It was already broken, wasn't it?
What do you mean? It was totally fine.
Okay, well, what should I do?
It was supposed to open tonight, but it's not ready. Let's go have a chat with the restaurant. Yeah.
Sushi.
Okay, cool. There's some chill moments. Hi, Nova Lover. But yes, how's everybody doing? I just got a package delivered. What'd you get? I can't to see what voice you give this guy. Oh, no. I don't know what he's gonna be, so we're gonna figure this out. Hey, Boncho, are we all ready to open? As you can see, it's just in time.
It's already finished?
You're of the fisherman Cobra was talking about.
Well, I'm more of a diver than a fisherman.
All right. Anyway, it's nice to meet you. I'm Bonko. So, you like sushi?
I sure do. Tuna belly, eel, sea urchin. Oh boy, just thinking about it makes my mouth water.
Yeah, well. Wait, let's go deeper. Let's go here, down here. Just a mediocre as expected. Sushi is a food that combines the soul of the sea and land. It symbolizes Mother Nature herself. Most people, however, have only tasted more accessible fish just like you. How empty a life is one that ends without ever tasting the beauty of Mother Nature can offer. My calling is to bring the taste of Mother Nature to everyone. There we go. That one's fun. So we have announcer voice, we have smooth voice, and we have whatever his voice.
An earthquake.
The interior really is quite a mess.
Yeah, it looks like we'll have to delay the opening today.
You know what? I spent all my money getting this restaurant ready, and I'll have to recover the repair costs through doing business.
Yeah, in this state.
I forgot it was Marcus the Worm. Who is Marcus the Worm? In the end, the importance of restaurant is the taste. First, we need ingredients. Did you bring any? Thank you.
Yeah, well, I have some I just caught.
Only 3 fish? This won't be nearly enough to serve the guest. Hey! Sick. I'm glad you bought that. Do I know the muffin one? The muffin one. Muffin man. I do not know the Muffin Man. Hi! No, I don't know the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man?
Please go catch 7 more fish first. Oh, and the restaurant's going to be opening only in the evening. Won't that decrease sales? So you think it's right to invite customers without adequate preparation just to make a little more money? It's a chef's duty to prepare the best possible food with meticulous provisions, just as a warrior sharpens his sword on a whetstone. You will need to get me the best quality ingredients during the day. Yeah, okay.
I've heard about that. I have heard about that. And there's quite a few things. If you ever hear counting happening, especially in the Appalachians, just start chucking things, because there's a lot of things that need to count things for some reason. Who lives on Drury Lane? The Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane? That is the one! Wait. He may not talk about personal stuff, but the guy can talk about sushi all night. I haven't seen Pancho so enthusiastic since the incident. It's nice to see him like this. The incident? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. Well, anyway, we need more ingredients, so go catch 7 fish. The incident. Guess so hard to get into the ocean. This big body of mine. My brother burnt your grilled cheese. Kill him. I mean, don't kill your brother. Fight him. Beat up your brother. Combat. Defeat your brother in single-handed combat. Thank you, Ayas. Don't kill your brother. In Minecraft. Do it in Minecraft. Womp. So a lot of these fish, I don't know if they would ever be good in because I think this is like I think that's supposed to be, I don't know what it is. A yellow tang. I feel like a lot of these fish would not be good in sushi. I feel like tropical fish in general. But I might be wrong. No, I'm probably completely wrong. Never mind, I take it all back. Alfredo pasta isn't Italian. Oh, what is it? Who is it? Is it me you're looking for? You haven't never watched this? Oh. Well, it's kind of fun. I'm having fun so far. But to be fair, as a child, have y'all ever heard of Feeding Frenzy? Have you ever heard of Feeding Frenzy? It was an old game back in the day. You played as a little fish, and you'd keep eating other fish, and you kept getting bigger. Or was that the one where you fed fish in an aquarium? There's 2 different games. One where you ate fish, and one where you fed fish in an aquarium. And both were fun, and I loved both the games. And I just love games where you eat things and get bigger, or you evolve. Oh, Insane Aquarium, that was the other one. Insane Aquarium was the other one. I love that one too. Yes. Those were good games. Good games. I want more games where I can eat things and get bigger. I think it'd be just so cool to, you know, be a thing. Eat things, get bigger. Do I get bigger in Octodad? Does Octodad eat things? I love games with stories in them. You know what? Good. Spore. I liked Spore. So, okay. Oh, wait, sorry. I gotta voice this. Get the ingredients ready before dinner hours start. I don't remember what his voice was now. I zoned out. Okay, sorry. Spore. I played Spore on the Mac. And everything worked except the final, like, situation where you're supposed to, like, fly around and find something on a planet. And I could never find it. You're supposed to find, like, a ship on a planet.
How are the preparations coming along?
I think we're mostly set.
That's good. Here's to a great evening. Where do you think you're going? Didn't you hear from Cobra? You're to help me run the sushi bar from today onwards. Wait, I don't understand. Cobra told me that there would be somebody to help with the ingredients and the serving. He said all I need to do is cook. And who else is there for that but you? Wait, but I've never worked at a restaurant before. The guest will be here soon. I'll give you a quick promise, so pay attention. What?
Yeah. Well, maybe not a full hour. I'll be ending about like 5:30, 5:20-ish.
Open up the ingredients below. Ingredients, yes. Here you can check your fish, crop, sauce, and all other materials you have. For now, that's all you need to know. Come back later for more information, white chocolate.
Okay. Wait, so we're just looking at it?
All right. Now I'll show you how to register actual items to the menu. New recipes need to be added to the menu before they can be sold to customers. The sushi's a recipe for the fish you acquired earlier, so try to register that to the menu.
All right.
Clownfish.
Is it because of the voice I'm doing, Ava?
Is he doing it? Or is it me? Am I the one giving him the gator?
I tried to buy a Christmas gift for my girlfriend. It never ordered them, and the one it actually did, it was the wrong charms on the bread. No, JC, I'm so sorry. I wish you the best of luck.
I'm back. Hello, Catherine. Welcome back. Setting ingredients to auto supply will make things a bit more convenient. Let me repeat, only food on the menu can be sold. If you run out of ingredients, you'll have to replace items on the menu or refill the ingredients. You can also enhance the flavor of these dishes.
Thank you for the stretch.
So try it out when you have enough ingredients. Now use the ingredients you got to fill out the menu as much as you can.
All right. Yep. Perfect.
How long are you going to stand here talking?
Maddie, you probably already checked in. Thank you for the check-in. If you haven't, you haven't. Good job.
Give me a cup of green tea to quench my thirst. Have you perhaps poured green tea before? No, I only drink soft drinks because I'm a big fat man. What is water?
When my coworker's acting with my cup, she looked like she was gonna cry. Killed us. Aww. Luna, you're amazing. I would have to regulate that.
Let me give you some green tea, okay?
3, 2, I didn't do enough. You can only do one pour, that's interesting.
Yes.
Break the 20-pound mug.
As expected, Bancho's green tea is quite something. The tea really got my appetite going. Is there something to eat, perhaps? Demanding as always. Why don't you try serving him some food while you're at it?
Wait until the food's done? Okay.
Now, come over here to where I am and take the food.
My tomato soup is spicy. Did you put too much stuff in it? Hey! Thank you for the gifteds. I really appreciate it.
You sent the package last week, you say? What in the world? Let me check on that. Cobra didn't even eat. He's always distracted like that. The food can't be reused, so we'll have to throw it out. It seemed like such a waste to throw away. Bancho Sushi never reuses food. We do not put food made for guests on the table twice. Yeah, well, all right.
What do you mean you got M-Preg instances? How does that happen in a game? I want Bancho to be gay. I would love Bancho to be gay. I want him to be gay. I want him to have, like, married or to have dated a samurai, fallen out of love because of an issue with the family, and now he lives as a sushi chef in a random location to try to forget his lost love. It's all I want, okay? Customers will order dishes. Okay, open one to sushi. Let him in away. Making a fanfic for Bancho.
Yeah. There's so many guests. Alright, we're gonna be pulling this here. It's just gonna be a little bit here. And there it is. Perfect. Look how amazing I am. Alright, we're going to do... Yes, give me the sushi. Wait, how do I pick it up? There it is. Yeah, you ordered it first, I think. We're gonna give you one. What you got this time? Alright, and we're gonna pick up another one. There you go. I need more sushi, thank you. Give it to him. Yes.
Sorry. Anyways, I'm back. I'm waiting for the sushi. Come on, come on, come on. Thank you. I'm loving this. I'm having such a darn good time, actually. This hits right now. Why does it hit? I don't know. It's just like, you know, I get to run back and forth and... got him. You have negative 79 coins. Oh no. I have so little money. I think I start at minus money. So we're trying to hit a certain money to repair the restaurant first. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you all this. This hits so hard for what I like. Because, okay, we're gonna talk about my game theory. I like games where you grow and you progress. And I like games where you start off at the worst, especially when you've had everything taken from you. My favorite GTA has to be, I think, GTA 4, because you come in as like a poor immigrant and you have to build up like a foundation. I don't like GTA 5 specifically because you're after the big crime happened and one of the guys is rich. And so it's a tragedy about how the guy fails. And I mean, like, there's still, you know, elements in GTA 4, but whatever. And so I like games like where you start off at the bottom, especially like there's like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, like Tony Hawk's Underground. Oh, I would so go back and play that game. So I think this game hits that need of growth for me. I don't know, what do you think? This is, hello, Lily. How you doing? Be good. You have new friends? Amazing.
If you, work's finally done for the day. My back legs hurts.
You a bit clumsy, but not bad for your first day. Try a little harder next time.
Wait, that's not right.
You're a bit clumsy, but not bad for your first day. Try a little harder next time.
There you go. You're watching and streaming on my PC. Nice! You need to move over, Gene? Oh, right. My bad. I'm sorry! I'm sorry.
Hello. Hello, Yumai.
I'm big. I am big. By the way, you're covering the screen. No, I'm the center. I should be. You know what? We're not even. No game. No game now. I get to play the game by myself, and nobody gets to see it. No one gets to see the game but me.
Okay, I want you all to see the game. A man should never not feel gratification from a man should not feel gratification from simple compliments.
Yeah, all right. In any case, a toast to the opening of Bancho Sushi.
All right, it's Southern Voice time. We're gonna go back in the throat. Oh, thank you for the stretch. What's my natural form? Why are you pouting again?
Why is the Kraken stealing our package? What the heck was that?
Rune. Oh, Mafia. That might be a good game. I might try that one.
Are you the man who's been diving around here? Yeah, I think so.
I was expecting a more professional-looking guy.
Yeah, I can hear you, you know.
In any case, can you do something for me?
Shouldn't you tell me who you are first?
I'm Ellie. I study biology at the local graduate school. I've come out to investigate after reports of anomalies in the area. Satisfied?
Okay, so, what do you want?
I'd like to study the ecology of the blue hole. Give me some agar and red starfish first. I don't think it's a good idea to ask for just one of each. Get me 2 of each.
Your tone makes me want to refuse.
I got a reward. But if you don't want it, that's fine by me.
A reward? Well, I wasn't refusing. I'm just saying you could ask more nicely.
In any case, please hurry. Don't dally.
Gibbets has evolved.
You can use your phone to access various types of content, check your current missions, and more.
Game settings to be accessed from the phone.
Boobies. That's the reward. It's titties.
Yeah, right. We're gonna do...
Ha! Gene, no. Oh. But Cornea, why not? You never let me have any fun. I'm blue, abba-dee-da-ba-die, abba-dee-da-ba-die, abba-dee-da-ba-die. So, listen up, here's a story about a little guy who lives in a blue world. And all day he is blue, and he is blue because things are blue for him. Blue in his house. Dave is actually... I know, that's fair. No, Dave seems really chill. He seems very like Mohalo. He definitely seems like a white guy who got accepted by all the locals and who's extremely awkward, but like people love him anyways. Oh, the new Mafia? I might play that then. Blitzo! Hello, Blitz. Blue little house and a blue Corvette, and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around, cause he ain't got nobody to listen to. Yes.
Purple sea urchin. I don't think sea urchins can be picked up with these gloves.
Oxygen. Oh!
Eel. Haha.
Oh, wait.
Eel. Give me the eel. Let me kill an eel. Yeah.
Why can't I kill the eel? Eel sushi's so good. What's my favorite color? Pink.
Eel farm.
Chat, how's the eel farm going in the basement, by the way? Hey. What did I say about living?
Stop hurting me. Turn around. Eh? Got it. And this is the day Dave died. We killed Dave. Use Punky's tail as bait? That's valid. Do you know a lot of Punky regrows, actually? Like, they're really good at regrowing. Am I making y'all panic? I can get one more fish.
Red-toothed tigerfish. Dave, did you get loosened up yesterday?
Yes, I saw lots of nasty fish. I won't be easy to go any deeper.
I did notice that the fish in the blue hole have odd violet streak. Perhaps something puts them on edge. Speaking of which, why don't you also take a gun? Dave, here. A gun will save you underwater.
A gun?
I have a friend who's knowledgeable about guns. I'll introduce you to him.
Oh no. Yeah, this is definitely a neckbeard. Oh, how do I do this? How do I get more neckbeardy? Give me a second.
Well, Cobra, it's been a while. Who's that goofy-looking guy next to you?
Sorry, it wasn't the nicest thing to say to a stranger. I'm Dave, a professional diver.
Interesting. I thought divers were athletic and muscular. You seem to defy my prior knowledge.
People who live in glass houses.
What's this about? I'd like you to get straight to the point. I've begun a very interesting business. And now I'm in need of some weapon stuff. I need your help.
Why are you scared? Why are you scared? Don't be scared.
Season 2 of Star Stella. And I'll give you a listen. Actually, I've just discovered a fascinating giant blue hole.
What?
The terrain and ecology inside it changes every time you go inside. Oddly, any equipment found inside breaks down when brought out. I'd like you to make a weapon that can be used inside. Interesting. Yes, that's very interesting. You've piqued my interest. As a weapons researcher, you could say. My hypothesis is that anything not made from materials found in the blue hole will continue to break down. This is specifically true of guns, which have precision parts.
Thank you for the follow, Ara Dea Dawn. Your name's fun. I'm sorry, is the voice too much? Do you want me to do a different voice? I could give him a sexy voice. Look at me, I'm so sexy and sweaty. Look at my neck beard. No, keep going. Perfect.
so we'll have to get materials from the sea ourselves. Dave, you have to prove yourself as a diver. Do this master stuff.
It's my nose.
I
can't. What voice did I do for him?
I'm not sure why I would have to prove myself to you, but just tell me what you need.
Since it appears you have no guns at all, let's start with something easy. I think I'll need one rope, one scrap iron.
You brace for the voices? Good, good, good. My thing keeps freezing. I'm sorry.
You heard him right, Dave. Enter the blue hole and bring back rope and scrap iron. By the way, if you run out of oxygen midway, you'll only be able to make it back with one item. Always keep that in mind.
Dev has been added as a contact.
All right, so what we have here?
What did operator want?
Get a 20% discount.
Yay! Oh, what time is it? 5:02. Okay, we're still good.
Look.
Yo, I have to go to singing lessons after this. I don't know if I'm gonna have the energy because I'm giving all my energy right now. Get a little rest. Enjoy it. Oh boy. All right, where are we? God, man, streaming is so much fun. I should not be allowed to stream. Streaming is too cool. Oh wait, is it not time yet? Like what did I deserve to stream? Who's allowing me to be cool and have fun stuff like this? Y'all let me do cool things and it's cool, and that's all I have to say, okay? How close am I to partner? It is now a waiting game. It is now a waiting game. I have to hit 75 viewers for 12 days total. Actually, I'm not really straining my voice that much right now. This is still within my control.
If I was down here, that would be a different thing. But I learned that I can go over here instead, and then this is the up top. If my what is up here? It's a thing. I can't remember what the word for it is. False chord. Yeah, my false chords. I can dub up here.
So as long as I'm not down here, I'll be fine.
Ow. Okay, Upong, I gotta go. Oh, enjoy your sleeps. My schedule. Conrad, could you post my schedule, please? I do morning streams as well. But if you're curious about that, feel free to do so. Feel free to come by for it. Thank you, Karamia.
There's this thing here. New content escape pod.
Cool. Ooh, is that a baseball bat? What do you mean a baseball bat?
Yes. I mean, I can do crawl to up top. You just need to go down and hit the right spot.
That's not Grog, though.
That's there. You have to go down, but you have to go up as well.
I'm gonna beat this fish to death.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Shoot. I'm such a good doggy.
Yeah, exactly. I died. I killed Dave. Dave is dead. Yeah. I do chill streams in the morning because it's gonna be my morning. Be Dave the Dieter. Dave the Dyer.
Dave, this giant blue hole looks infinitely more dangerous than any other places. Always pay attention to your oxygen and use the escape pod when you're in danger to get out quickly.
Oh wait, that's the thing. Oh. They just explained the escape pod. I was like, oh my god, cool, an escape pod. I didn't actually read how to use the escape pod. So, yeah. Did anybody actually read how to use the escape pod? Hello, Bree. I know it's not easy. Brianna Liana. Oh, Brianna Liana. I like your name. Can I stay here, guys? I got a rough and sad day and I want to relax. Of course you can stay here. Today's a goofy day, so, yeah, feel free to be goofy. I can't read. Me also. Me neither? Me neither. No, the menu! The menu! Sorry, give me a second. Yeah? Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. But why is this leveling up? I can enhance. Enhance. Fine, I'll call you Brianna. Whoa. Let's do a few enhancements. Let's do a... Okay. And then we'll add... Okay. Ready. Bree? Oh, okay, wait, I gotta do T. I got this. Wait for it. There it is. Good. No, I'm sorry! I chose the wrong person to go with first. Okay. 1, 2. Can I grab the daikon? Okay, she goes to the back. I like the vibe. We're gonna grab this. Okay. Wait. There's wasabi? I gotta grind wasabi. Okay. How do I grind wasabi? Ah! Okay. Oh, the menu! Ah! How do I do the menu? Okay, menu. We ran out of everything immediately. Okay, we're gonna swap you with you. And we're gonna swap you with you. Apparently me upgrading the sushi was a bad idea. I got this. Sorry, I'm super distracted. Hello, editor. Hope you have a good stream. I hope you have a good stream as well. Hello, buddy. We need to hang out sometime and just talk content and stuff. You're very fun to hang out with it. What game? What game are you that high on? It's definitely fun. This is such a chill experience. How long you stream for a short stream? I'll be probably ending in about 10 minutes, actually. Normally, so yeah, 15 minutes. Harpoon gun. Okay, so I need to go get all the ingredients to make a gun. But normally I'd just be starting the stream a little bit early. It's this traffic jam game? That sounds fun. Normally I'd be starting stream on this day a little bit earlier. I was doing some coaching before the stream. I've offered free coaching on Twitch to streamers just to be like, hey, here's what I did, and because I want to talk about content. And a lot of people were like, hey, I'm really interested. Tell me about stuff. And I was like, oh, sweet. There's way more of you than I thought there would be. And so I got to talk to Steph today. That was a lot of fun. Their content is great. If you ever want to go check them out, Steph Sue, TSU. Now, they do narration a lot, like a lot of cool ASMR-y stuff. Oh, so right now I was just offering coaching for free. I'm practicing coaching. Ooh, cheap Japanese sword. But I will be doing more stuff. Like I'll actually eventually be doing a full-on like, hey, you can hire me for like continuous sessions. I'll go through your content. I'll even like go through your live stuff. But that'll be like later on. I might rely on that actually, depending on how March goes. Because at March we'll find out, hey, Gene, do you still have a job, or are you gonna be, broke? I'm hoping there'll be no issue. So we'll see. Yeah. Maybe the hydrate. There we go. Yeah, like, yeah, that's the thing. If I lose my job in March, we'll see. Because that's when my contract ends, then yes. I will be probably doing like paid coaching, everything. As well as like content review and editing services for my style of doing shorts, because mine are just really quick edits. So they'd be cheap and quick. Anyways, okay, I need to find iron. But also, yeah, if I don't have the job, I will be streaming probably at least 6 hours a day, if not 8 hours a day. It'd be a lot of stuff. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to try a bunch of stuff just to, to make it. So we'll see. We'll see. Off-brand queso. Off-brand queso lives this time. We have the rope, and I need iron. Oh, the misery. Jellyfish. Can I kill a jellyfish? I don't think it really matters. Okay. Copper. Is that iron? It's not. Can't get it. If you lose your job, I'm someone Mothra F. I mean, no, it's totally. I get it. Like, I'm only a contract worker. I'm not a full time. Like, I'm not like salaried worker. So they're every in their right to just be like, yeah, Gene, we don't need you anymore. Have a good one. Have a good life. What's the best kind of chocolate? I like milk chocolate in general. We're talking about like nationality. I'd say German is my favorite. That's what I grew up with. Dang it, Aces, this is hard. This is hard. That's fine. Hi. Carmia, don't say it. Don't say it, Carmia. Because you're gonna mention something about me, my love of difficult games. Like, well, I bet you like it because you. We're gonna add to the menu. Oh, is this permanent level up on these items? Alright, so I have. We're gonna enhance it. Nope. We're not gonna enhance it. 14, 26. Thank you, guy. Good gun. Okay. Come in. Welcome back. That will be part of the fundraiser. That is a goal for the fundraiser. If the thank you for that, Bats. If the fundraiser goes well, we will be opening up a Minecraft server for everybody. So the fundraiser we're going to be doing is to raise money for a new model, as well as like new, some new VR equipment, so I can do full body tracking streaming. There will be a VR model. There will be a new live 2D model. There might be a merch drop and a few other things. There we go. Yeah, exactly. And I will do a whole like live concert event. I will do my own like, you know, I'll do like an open mic night kind of thing where I will sit down, I'll read poetry, and I'll sing songs and do all that kind of stuff, you know? Fundraiser is February 13th. And I've already looked into getting Voidlink plushings done. It'll cost about 3,000 to get it's gonna be 3,000 to get about 50 plushies done, I think. Or is it 100 plushies? Either way. A Minecraft server for us, huh? Yeah, exactly. How do you help with this? It's just gonna be fundraiser. It's gonna be a tier on the fundraiser. I will be posting. Let me take a look real quick. So let's see if it would be about. Wait. Nothing. Anyways. Oh, I forgot I'm showing off my screen. One second. I wanted to figure out how much I would need to sell plushies for if I were to like do that price. Now the price will be cheaper if like we get more. It is going to be like an initial run. They are large plushies and they're very nice quality. So okay, 320 for shipping, and then oh no, sorry. Okay, it'd be 2,000 for 500 of them. Wow, did I say there's 50? Did I say 50? I meant 500. Sorry, 500. That's why the value wasn't making sense to me. Okay, so it'd be 2,165 divided by, so for 500. Okay, So that would make each unit about $4. You cannot get under 500. And I would ship them out to people to sell at conventions and stuff. And we would have backstock for a while. I mean, it would be expected that we'd have backstock for a while. So anyway, so it'd be $2,165. And then it's going to be another $300 for shipping. And so we're going to divide that by 500. So each unit's going to come out to about $5, just for the base pricing. They are good quality plushes, and so at like conventions, I would probably sell them for like 20. Which would give us, actually, that's not bad. Oh, but then I have to figure out what shipping from here costs. It's a lot of stuff. But anyways, I have a quote to start with. I think I could probably do like 30 per plush. Hypothetically, this is not guaranteed. I could probably do 30 for plush. That would include shipping. And that would give me a decent overhead to work with. Yeah. It wouldn't be me as a plush, it'd be Voidlings as a plush. If you want me as a plush, I haven't actually looked into that. But we do have the final Voidling designs worked on, and it would be just the black Voidlings, the generic black Voidlings. If it goes well, then we'll do the white Voidlings as well as variants. But I also might need to work with a product designer. Anyways, lovelies, I do need to head out. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to make this kind of quick, so we're going to find somebody very quickly to raid to. I need to go to my lessons. So, God, can you please stop streaming with other people? I want to raid you, but I can't guarantee the person you're with is chill. So annoying. I hate raid. I don't raid into collabs. I don't raid into collabs unless like I know the event beforehand, because I guarantee, guess what? They can't give you the attention that you deserve. Who's this?
Mention Jirachi, it's very hidden.
Oh, he's doing Minecraft still.
OMG. OMG.
Si notre amour est une tragédie.
Right, the whole being on the brink of death issue.
That's one.
Well, it looks like he'll enjoy while it lasts.
Emiko?
Did a great job. With that.
We can raid into Emio, or you can raid into Siren here. Oh, this is live. This is live. I want to raid into a VTuber. I will. Yeah, I will raid into Pocky. You all say to Pocky. Pocky's lovely. I don't have time to worry about this right now. Plushies are not made yet. I'm still working on figuring out, and it's gonna be like in at least February 17th or February 13th before we do it. Anyways, do you have concept for the design? Oh yeah, y'all will see the Void Link soon. It's gonna be closer to the mid of the month. Anyways, y'all been great. Go say hi to Pocky. There's 96 of you. What the heck?
Well, that was fun.
Bye, lovelies. Mwah.
I think that was a lot of fun.